It is now 11 o'clock. You are tuned into 91.9 FM WMEB Orono, Maine. You are entering the Mystery Hour.
Michaels, and you are listening to the Mystery Hour, the spookiest late-night paranormal talk show right here at WMEB. As always, I'm broadcasting to you live from a dark room within the bowels of the University of Maine. And as always, I'm not alone. I'm with my fellow co-hosts, who are currently sitting on what was once known as the panel of experts, but is now known as just the panel. They are Connor, Keith, and Robbie.
Hello.
Not going to lie to you. I'm very, very, very excited for tonight's Mystery Hour because I have exactly no idea what is going on. It is shrouded in mystery, drenched in ambiguity. And, I guess that makes tonight the most meta installment of the Mystery Hour to date. However, as author and very serious, scary guy, H.P. Lovecraft once said,
"The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown."
Perhaps there is such a thing as too much mystery, but I guess we'll find out. So, boys, who's kicking things off tonight?
I've got a campfire story for us, actually.
Really?
I do, yeah. It's called A Campfire Story.
A campfire.
Yeah.
That is just the darndest thing.
I
Yeah,
think Robbie knew it was coming. He snickered already.
Are you snickering over there?
Peel back the fog on the story for
Wait,
us.
he knows what's going on?
I didn't think so, but
I thought we were plunging ourselves into mystery, the unknown, ambiguity to kind of get at the marrow of our show. Keith?
Yeah, I just made that up. Robbie doesn't actually have any idea. You can proceed.
oh, thank goodness. Okay, it's by No Sleep user Vital Duel. For a number of years, I was a camp counselor at an overnight camp in anonymous Maine town.
Is this John McCullough?
It is not. It's very similar, though. And I think we're going to hear from him later.
Ooh.
Yeah. Another saga of his Camp Jordan story.
Very exciting. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no problem. I loved it more than any job I've ever had, despite the non-existent pay. Annoying campers, long days and short nights, bad food, etc. For one, I got to tell as many scary stories as I could sputter out. There was nothing better than hanging around a dying campfire with a bunch of junior high kids who were demanding the scariest, most blood-curdling...
You can't even tell it.
Well,
Get it together.
someone was snickering in the background. Have you guys heard this story? Is that why you're laughing? Does it have
No.
a funny ending?
No.
No.
Because even I haven't
It's
heard
a
it.
mystery, the ending.
Oh.
It's a mystery to me. Tonight's episode is all about being shrouded in mystery.
We are enveloped in just a cloud of dark.
Tell us about those junior campers.
I'm sorry. I will continue. And I told them all about the babysitter and the eerie clown statue, the driver and the creepy gas attendant, the woman and her licking dog. I saved my best stories for the overnight trips we made in anonymous Maine Park for non-Canadians.
Baxter.
Well, don't give it away. It's a massive park spanning nearly 8,000 square kilometers. When days would be spent canoeing on pristine lakes and nights would be spent around the fire singing and making s'mores and being as rowdy as only people within miles could be.
Of course.
Once the kids had quieted down, I told them stories of a stalker in the woods with a face so horrifying it paralyzed all of its victims in fear. Or the group of campers who decided to spend a night across the lake from an abandoned, or was it, insane asylum. On this particular night, I'd finished up the tales, once again insisting that they were entirely true, and sent the campers to their tents. It had been an exhausting day, and none of the 6 kids were in any mood to stay up later. My fellow counselor had also decided to pack it in, leaving just me on a fallen log next to the dying fire. I took a deep breath of the cool, fresh pine-scented air and looked out at the lake. The partial moon reflected off the glassy water, and on the other side I could see towering cliffs going up several hundred feet. I considered whether we could canoe, climb up a dozen feet, and even do some cliff jumping. I grinned. The camp director would have my head if we did that, if he found out. Movement at the very top of the cliffs caught my eye. There was a small light bobbing along the peak. At first I thought it was a star, but it was larger and gave off a golden glow. It slowly moved back and forth in a small arc. As I sat up and watched it, another appeared next to it, bobbing along the top of the cliff. Then another, and a few more. My stomach dropped into my feet. I grabbed my bag and pulled my digital camera out, then focused it on the little glowing orbs and used the zoom function. I counted them, and then I counted again. Oh no. In a flash, I was up and running to the tents. Hey guys, wake up! We've got to go! There was movement in the tents, and I had 7 confused heads looking out at me. My co-counselor wore a mixture of concern and pure anger. I hate to do this, I continued, but the clouds are looking really threatening. There's a big rainstorm coming in. If we get caught in it, it's going to ruin our trip. Seriously? Laura, my co-counselor, asked. We're in the middle of the woods. Where would we go? I pulled a map and flashlight out of my bag. There's a ranger station a few kilometers south of us. I traced the path with my finger. Thank God, we can make it there in a few hours. The campers groaned. Can't we just go in the morning? No, I shouted, my voice edging across the lake. I lowered it. Come on, let's get packed up and go. I'll tell you a story along the way. I smiled, though I could feel my lips quivering. It's my best one. That seemed to get them going, and within 10 minutes, the tents were packed, and we began our trek into the deep woods, with small flashlights, our only guide. When I was confident we were moving at a steady pace, I allowed myself to relax and begin to tell my favorite campfire story. See, it's a story within a story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice
Quite
framing.
clever.
Wow.
Excuse me. Centuries before the European settlers made their way into the county, it was inhabited by the First Nations people. They had made the trip from across Western Canada, following the migration patterns of large animals such as buffalo and bison. Eventually, they reached Ontario, at which point they split off into smaller groups of travelers, each searching for a section of land to call their own. Legend has it that one group, consisting of about 20 men, women, and children, had ventured through this very area in search of a place to call home. Though it wasn't even the end of October, the weather had made a turn for the worse. And as the group journeyed around the lake, a fierce blizzard hit. Within an hour, the group found themselves in blinding snow and below zero temperatures. The clothes they had on were made for the fall, not this sort of weather. And there weren't any Canadian goose jackets around back then. But they pressed on. They didn't have any other choice. Night was falling as they reached a cliff bluff, which towered over a cold, choppy lake. There was no stopping for this group. They'd die if they didn't make it past the cliffs. But with the darkness setting in and snow falling even harder, visibility was almost non-existent. So one of the elders had an idea. Using the little kerosene they had left, he lit a lantern for each of the travelers and had them carry it in front of them. so that they would not fall off of the cliffs. But they could still see who was in front of them, allowing them to follow each other across the narrow bluffs. With the strongest of the men leading the way, the group began to cross the cliffs. The freezing wet snow soaked every bone in their body. The harsh wind chilled any exposed skin and threatened to push them right off the rock. Their path was no more than a few feet wide and would have been slippery to even the best of hiking boots, let alone hand-fashioned moccasins. Slowly, painstakingly slowly, they made their way up the cliffs, praying that whatever lay on the other side could shelter them from the intensifying storm. They were about halfway up, hundreds of feet above the lake, though it was well out of their vision. In fact, all they could see in the blinding storm was the lantern in front of them, acting as a beacon to guide their steps. If the light moved up, they moved up. If it went down, they moved down. Each of the travelers was almost in a trance, caring about nothing but the glowing orb a few feet away. For the leader, though, there was no such luxury. He moved forward, blindly, feeling along the cliff with his free arm, though his skin was so numb he could barely feel anything. As the path wound back again, he made a misstep and lost his footing, just as a gust of wind blasted his back. He desperately grasped for the hold, but his frozen fingers couldn't get anything. With a terrified scream, he slipped off the cliffs and fell into the icy black lake. Thank you for the reenactment.
Nice.
The rest of the party didn't see him fall, of course. All they saw was his glowing orb dropping away from the bluff and disappearing in the darkness. There was no time to mourn. They continued on, but the storm was worsening. After another minute, one of the children, his body unable to withstand the cold, dropped away, his lantern glowing until the choppy waters put it out. Another, having seen this, lost his balance and fell. This pattern went on until there was just 5 people left, fumbling along in the darkness, following the light in front. As hard as they tried, the cliffs were unforgiving. The remaining men fell down to 4, then 3, and 2, and then there was just one left, who legend says cursed the earth as his legs slipped, and he plunged hundreds of feet down, his lantern the last one to be extinguished. Of the 20 members who tried to overcome the cliffs, I finished, not one of them survived. They say that sometimes when the conditions are right, you can see the orbs along the cliff, symbols of the lost travelers who never found their homes. As the story ended, leaving the campers in an eerie silence, I saw lights up ahead. A wave of relief poured over me. We picked up the pace and found the ranger station bursting with activity, with a half-dozen people running around, loading up trucks and shouting into radios. The wind was beginning to really pick up, and I heard the thunder in the distance. "Hey, you kids!" A large burly man with a full beard and mustache ran up to us. "Get in the trucks, we don't have much time." Laura and I led the kids to one of the pickup trucks. "What's going on?" I asked the man. "Didn't you hear? Another gust of wind. Huge storm systems heading right for us. Already been tornadoes touched down. We're getting everyone out of here. Let's go." We all climbed into the truck's bed. I collapsed down, feeling like I'd just been punched in the gut. The ranger climbed into the front, and we looked down off a makeshift road. My head was spinning. It wasn't possible. "How?" Laura slid next to me, keeping her voice low. "How did you know we had to get out of there?" I looked over at her. My face felt empty of any blood. I saw the lights. "What? No," she gasped, then caught herself. "How many?" I took a deep breath. 8. She looked around at all the campers, who were now lying against each other, asleep despite the bumpy road. "That's all of us, my God." I nodded and leaned against her. Laura had heard the traveler's story before, and she knew that I'd left out a key bit of information. The lights were real, but they were never random. If they were shining, bobbing back and forth, swinging in a small arc, it was because they had a message, a warning. One light would shine for each person who is about to die.
Oh, that's pretty good. A little bit spooky.
I'm a little bit spooked, yeah.
Yeah, feel my arm. It's covered in goose flesh.
I can see that from here.
Did they live?
They did live from the sound of it, yeah.
Yeah, it got posted, right?
Good point, yeah.
Yeah, he's fine.
Were they using perhaps spectral Morse code?
I personally don't have a theory on that. What about you guys over there?
Yeah, I think that's quite likely, actually. Like, how else would they communicate? Or why do they want to communicate in the first place? Truly, if they were out for their mission, they would just say nothing and just strike. It must be a game.
Yeah, do you think perhaps they wanted to warn travelers so that they didn't suffer the same fate that they did?
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
And it seems like it works.
It does work. I mean, it worked in that situation. Listen, if you are going into the wilderness, you gotta get your handbook on edible like fauna and foliage. You gotta get the maps of the area, but also the local ghost signals.
Of course. And bring your goose skin moccasins, too.
Yeah.
Of course.
So it really sounds like it's a curse. Like, these ghosts are here because they're cursed. So how can we lift that curse?
You know, how can we lift that curse?
That's a. I don't know. I do know how I can how a certain famous Maine curse can be lifted, but I'm not exactly sure how I would approach this one. What do you guys think? Maybe if you went out with 8 buddies with 8 flashlights, and you could communicate through light.
Repeat it back at them.
Repeat it back at them.
I was thinking probably like recover their bodies and give them a proper burial.
Ooh. A little far-fetched.
Yeah.
They might not, their
Seems more
bodies
normal.
might not even exist anymore.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Well, I mean, they fall off the cliffs in the winter.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It could be like Mount Everest, where there are just like preserved corpses in the chill.
Many.
Many a preserved corpse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yetis, probably.
Do you think Everest might be haunted?
Absolutely.
I
think
do.
you can hear. They say you can hear the voices in the winds.
Yeah, I hear a lot of reports that at night you can hear a sort of.
I really wish Joseph was here. He could identify it for us.
Yeah,
I think it's called wind, honestly.
Yeah, wind with voices,
that could be it.
or just wind.
But our experts aren't here. We're just the panel.
That's true. We did have an expert on the show, but Connor threw them out.
I threw them out. They were ne'er-do-wells. They were just causing a ruckus.
Oh my god.
They were loitering by the entrance, right?
They were indeed.
I think they might have been vampires because they did ask permission to come into the studio, and most just what was the term you used?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Ne'er-do-well?
Oh, ne'er-do-well.
Hooligans,
Hooligan.
Ruffins.
ruffians. Yeah, they would
Rapscallions.
just storm the door, but I think a true vampire would wait for that precious invite to come in, sit down for tea and some radio.
Did you check out their canines?
I did. I know.
It's rude to ask,
Were
but
they
I guess
big?
Connor's not even
He knows.
asking.
I mean,
Were they over large?
who doesn't? They're quite large.
I prefer my canines over easy.
Now, I
Don't
don't
raise
think they
your
were
arms for that.
vampires
Egg
in the
trick.
traditional sense. I think they were more psychic vampires because they were very,
Oh.
very mean in a way.
Bruxas.
Bruxes.
Yes,
Very,
and I
very much so.
luckily I had my steak and Mike had his garlic, and we fended them off.
Yeah, it's actually I don't really carry garlic with me, but since I don't exercise much, my sweat gets it piles up in my pores and becomes rancid, and it emits an odor that is very similar to garlic. So let's say I'm I'm in a situation with two people that may resemble Brex's. I'm gonna get nervous. I'm gonna start sweating. It's sort of this natural repellent that the odor oozes out of my pores and into the air.
Yeah, that's awesome. Probably attracts a lot of women, but not vampires, which is useful.
Yeah.
That's a good defense mechanism. When was the last time you ate garlic? How long does that defense stay up?
Well, my entire diet is pretty much just garlic and milk.
Would you
Where's-
recommend that?
I would. Look at me.
You look great.
Why would you drink? Do you have scurvy?
Scurvy.
No. Where's the vitamin C?
It's in the garlic.
Ah,
Is it?
It's got all of your essential vitamins and nutrients.
yeah. It's a great diet for you. I'm checking out your canines right now, as I speak.
Mm.
Yeah.
You're making me a little bit uncomfortable.
I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to do the show.
Speaking of canines, Connor, you look like a wolf yourself.
I have very large canine teeth. Yeah.
What do you think canines are a sign of? Okay, so do you think canines are like,
Lycanthropy.
Hey, I invited myself in here. I'm just saying.
Werewolves? Yeah, I mean, you're a man.
Oh, right.
It's
I'm
not
thinking. I'm still on vampires.
It's not a full moon
Yeah.
tonight.
Whoops.
Do you guys ever wonder? Okay, this ties into canines. Do you ever wonder like what the next step is for like human evolution? You know, like if people would like longer big toes, like that's the next step, or maybe canines, bigger canines, or no canines.
I mean, I think I'm the next step.
I think the next
That's what I'm
step is
saying.
not to have a beating heart. That's way too fragile of a thing to drive your entire body. You know, we need something more solid, more dependable, something that will last, something that's built to win. Good year.
I think.
Sorry, Robbie.
So I think you've just had some bad experiences with women.
What?
The call out.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I know I did just recently.
I think we need no heart.
I think we need no heart. I think AI is the next step, and we have to import our consciousness into robot bodies, because let me tell you, it's harder for the reptiles living within the moon base to fire their sonar lasers on us. If my skull was made of aluminium, it would be much harder for the radars to pierce it and sort of get at my eternal thoughts, you know what I'm saying? But I just got a skull made of calcium and sponge, and they can get right through it. They can get to it, Keith.
Yeah, I know we have some boys back at the lab working on a crystalline shell for your brain. And it actually works to deflect the radar from the lizard people.
Wow.
So you don't have to wear a hat. You can have a human beating heart, but it'll actually just, the beams enter from above and then they just bounce off in every direction because it's just like a prism up there.
But does it deflect the beams at the people closest to you?
No, it goes upward.
Upward, so it reflects them back?
Yes, we have screwed over NASA big time, but we really got back at the lizard people.
Yeah,
It's about time.
it's about time. NASA, N-A, $A.
They're in it for the money.
They're in it for the secret space program to Venus.
Oh, that went a different direction.
Big
I
secret.
kind of want to go back to the campfire story.
Yep.
That's the title of the story.
No, that's the genre of the
It's
story.
a genre and it's the title.
Whoa, okay. Okay, so do you think... That's kind of bold, though, to name your story the campfire story, because that makes it seem like it's sort of the quintessential campfire story, which it was not, but it's very good.
It was not, but I do enjoy it.
Catherine's Hill, like quintessential campfire story. But back to the orbs as a sign of approaching death, it sort of reminded me of the birds from The Dunwich Horror by H.P. Lovecraft. The swamp birds, every time someone was about to die, the birds would squawk within rhythm of their heart, and eventually would increase as the person's heart rate increased as they approached death's door,
Interesting.
and eventually dispersed. So every time in the story when people are hanging out in town, they hear the birds going crazy, they know that someone else is leaving this planet. It's just so creepy. Keith.
I've actually read similarly that lightning bugs derive their energy that way. That's why you'll find a lot of them
Oh.
in swamps.
Wow.
Because it's not the excess energy leaving as much as the decay. And you're going to find a lot of decay in the swamps.
Absolutely, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it'll power them up big time. Robbie?
Pass.
Nice. All right.
I mean, am I mistaken in thinking, Roy, that you saw an orb up at our friend Sean Kilpatrick's house?
I did see an orb, if you remember correctly. A few weeks back, you and we went to Sean Kilpatrick's house in Searsport. And we went to, he has a, if you didn't listen to the episode, shame on you, but let me fill you in. He has a baby graveyard. They have this huge property, which was once an old farmstead. Now it's a new farmstead, if you will. But they discovered while plowing their land, they found like slabs of stone. And it turned out those various gravestones, so they kind of put them back to the graveyard, but they don't know if the right stones line up with the right bodies, or if they're even remotely close to the bodies. And as you know, this may lead to paranormal activity and the whole respecting and burying your dead. And so we went out there and we did a very thorough investigation. We used the Ouija board. Ouija boards don't work. We didn't get any results, but as we were conducting the interview for the Mystery Hour, my vision, just a flash of green light went past, and I got chills and felt kind of weird, as if I was being watched after that point. It freaked me out. Nothing's ever happened like that to me before, but it's definitely an orb type situation.
It was quite scary. I mean, I didn't see it, but I felt the tension
Yeah.
at the time. And we're lucky that it wasn't a sign of our mortality, or our immediate death, at least.
Yeah, unless it's like a 3-week period, and then maybe.
You've got some time to get your affairs in order.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the reasonable curse.
Well, yeah. What's the right age to like get a will?
How old are you?
Why is that funny? 22.
They actually made me write one out in homeroom back at high school.
Good practice.
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
No way.
You know, your life skills, like you learn about mortgage and stuff like that, and they had us write out a will, yeah.
Do you think your teacher was trying to get you like in good favor with you, so you would write her into your will?
She was written in my will, but it was all for laughs.
Oh yeah.
Or was it?
They even had mock lawyers.
Did she
on
have
the
you sign
scene.
it?
Yeah, I signed it.
Maybe they were mock lawyers.
She put all the wills on the wall. So here's the trick, okay? So you'd look at you'd try to find your buddy's wills, right? Or like any will mentioning your name, and if you got something from it. So you'd go to the wall of wills, you would find it, point it out, and then you'd go find that person at in the cafeteria, and you would just get them. You would just all out, just straight up get them. Then you'd get.
Am I misunderstanding this, or was she trying to teach you to murder children? Because that's a little off base with what we are about here.
Oh,
Is that what you're saying, Roy?
I might be picking this up wrong, but
You better think quick.
I'm just having a laugh. I'm just having a laugh.
just jokes.
No, well, you get them and you say, like, if this was for real, I would get this stuff you wrote on your will. Be careful.
Oh, okay. So you're just teaching them a lesson.
That Xbox is mine.
Yeah.
So are wills secret? Are they a secret?
They are. I think my mom keeps hers in.
In the open?
I think it's in a satellite.
I've seen it on your fridge.
It's on my fridge. Every now and then, when you think of something that you might want, you just go up. It's like a grocery
Yeah,
list, if
exactly.
you will. You write it on the will.
If you use the last piece of bread, you just write bread up there.
Yeah, bread, milk, cinnamon ropes.
That sounds really convenient. It's like the
Garlic.
Amazon Prime of wills.
It is the Amazon Prime of wills. That's actually how the shopping cart system works on Amazon. It's an algorithm that writes out a will for a employee at Amazon, and they bring them to the kill floor.
Oh, I mean, they say they don't treat their
that's not-
employees well there,
not
but that
true.
sounds like a good service.
That's why they're switching to drones.
Yeah,
You don't have to write a will for drones.
you
Exactly.
don't have
They
to
just make
write
it
a
happen.
will for drones.
Do you have to pay someone for a will?
I guess you probably have to pay to have it notarized.
Really?
Depends. Do you want Will Wheaton or Will Smith?
Will Riker.
You don't like that one, Gus?
Who?
Yeah, boo.
There's not enough people in here for someone to fake laugh. You're just gonna have to deal with that.
Well, anyway, it is 11:32. I'm Roy Michaels, and you are listening to the Mystery Hour on 91.9 FM WMEB Orono, Maine. We'll be coming back in about 3 minutes with more from our mixed bag of mystery. See you then.
If you like bands like Mr. Bungle, Gogol Bordello, and the Dead Milkmen, then listen to Lookout Below, Wednesdays, 8 to 10 p.m. for anything loud, fun, and unusual. I'm Aaron, and I'll be your host every Wednesday night, 8 to 10 p.m. on WMEB 91.9 FM.
Everyone knows that ghouls are dangerous, but what most people don't know is that ghouls dislike violence just as much as us. They just don't speak the same language. Luckily, there's the Teleghoul, the all-in-one ghoul repelling device for the everyman. The Teleghoul is a complex, state-of-the-art piece of machinery, but luckily its usage can be broken down into 3 easy steps. Step 1. Press the button with the red circle on it to record your message. Make it something short and sweet, like, "Hey ghouls, please go away," or "Ghouls, stay away from my family." Step 2. Press the button with the squiggly lines on it to translate your message into something that ghouls can understand. All translated, here's a message in ghoul language. Step 3. Pull the trigger to broadcast your message to any ghouls around you. Now you can live ghoul-free, comfortable, safe. You can go to the baseball game with your son, Timmy, or maybe go to the drive-in theater with your gal, or even host a backyard barbecue for the whole family. The sky's the limit with Teleghoul. And get this, it's only $29.99. Just call 1-800-GHOUL. And remember, get rid of your ghouls with Teleghoul. The Teleghoul has not been vetted by the Paranormal Gadgets of America, nor is it officially supported by WMEB.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Roy Michaels. It's 11:36 and you're listening to the Mystery Hour on 91.9 FM, WMEB Orono, Maine. Tonight on the show, just got a whole bunch of mysteries going on. And I'm not quite sure what's up next, but I think Connor has an idea.
I do.
What's going on?
We actually have another phone call.
Another phone call.
Yeah, we're on fire these
Wow.
last 2 weeks.
We are just so blessed. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's bring him in. Rick from Constantine, Rhode Island. How's it going?
You there, Rick?
You there,
Did
Rick?
we lose Rick? We'd love to hear from you, Rick.
Uh-oh, do we have some technical difficulties?
Hello?
Oh, there he is. Can you hear us?
You got me? Am I coming in clear?
Yes, you are.
Oh, good. All right, I was worried there.
So do you have a story?
How are you
for
guys
us?
doing tonight?
We're doing great. We're doing
Great. Yeah, I
fantastic.
just I had something to ask you guys. I just kind of wanted to get your fellows' expertise on
sure,
a
sure.
little paranormal question I had, if that'd be all right.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So this happened a couple years back. I was doing a Ouija board with my girlfriend and her sister in a haunted house that was known to be haunted, and I myself, quite a bit of a skeptic. They were asking questions, and I said, I don't believe that you're here. I don't believe in demons or ghosts. So if you're here, make yourself known. And so a couple moments later, I felt what felt like a cold stone sliding down my back.
Oh my.
Yeah, and so I jumped back instinctively because I actually thought there was something on me. Like, I don't know, I felt like a bug or something, but afterwards that didn't make much sense. I got up and I was brushing all around, and there was just nothing. But what there was a very odd tension in the room. I don't know if you've experienced anything like that. If you think that it could have been some sort of demonic retort to my my lack of belief.
I mean, they might have targeted you specifically because you didn't believe. I think that happens fairly often.
Yeah, they knew he was
Is that a
ill-equipped.
common?
I think so, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Roy, what do you think?
Well, listen,
Rick.
let me tell you, you can't be messing around with a Ouija board without knowing what you're getting yourself into. You're essentially playing with fire, and every time you do that, you might get your fingers burned. So I think
Do you think I might be in some sort of danger?
you might be. Well, the first level of demonic activity is infestation. And have you noticed anything around your home that has seemed unusual?
I see the occasional picture frame turned on its side.
course.
I wake up in the middle of the night, and every faucet in the house is running. I brush it off. I think there's got to be something. Do you think those might actually be signs?
I mean, that sounds abnormal, in my expert opinion.
Okay.
It does seem abnormal.
Yeah, so I think something might be going on. What you want to do really is go find a priest and have your house exorcised. Roy has something to say.
You might have to go a step beyond that. How long ago did this happen to you?
Well, this was about a year ago.
Ooh.
And things like picture frame, things I usually brush off, they've been happening. I wake up in the bed shaking, and I brush it. Now that you guys are saying, I'm starting to think there might be something going on. I'm actually getting I'm getting more and more concerned as this phone call goes on.
Has it specifically, do you feel targeted by it? Does it just affect you, or does it affect the people around you?
Well, if I'm thinking about it this way, I came out of the shower, written in the mirror in steam. There was something that it said, Glenn, it said, Rick, I'm going to get you.
I definitely think this is demonic, and let me tell you why. It's all in the steam because demons are, as you know, from the underworld, which is very hot. And if a demon were to emerge in your bathroom to target you, yeah, there would be some steam in there heating up the water molecules from your shower. And you gotta be careful,
man.
Rick. You gotta be careful because, like I said, the first step is infestation. But after that is oppression, and that's when the demon specifically targets one person. But then after that, and even worse, is the third tier of demonic activity. That's possession.
And
You know what I'm saying?
It's possible that
You're saying possession's coming my way, is what you're saying?
well, it's possible that oppression has already happened and maybe beyond. Do you feel anxious, depressed? Do you feel like you have no place in the universe?
100% of the time.
Then we're at least at oppression. Do you feel that there's another consciousness
man.
within you?
Absolutely. I didn't think it was related, though.
It's so hard to hear
Rick.
this because,
Avoid steam, Rick.
yeah, I mean,
Your guys are really dropping a bomb on me here. I don't know.
we're all about the truth here on the Mystery Hour. We just want to help you.
Yeah, Rick, if it makes you feel any better, when was the last time you had your
I
live
don't.
stream?
What do I do now? Do you guys have any resources I can contact? Any? You said contact a priest. I'm sitting
Rick.
here in Constantine. I don't know where to reach a priest. And
Rick, we are professionals.
oh boy,
Well, what you got to do is I would go to a Catholic church because they're the most equipped for battling demons. But when you're trying to find the right person to carry out your exorcism, it's good to ask for the right paperwork, the diplomas, the degrees, because the last thing you want is someone, going in there without a clue of how to
Just trying to
handle
rob me blind, right?
yeah, exactly.
I'm sure there's lots of fakers out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if a good way to tell is if they don't recommend that you buy at least 5 pounds of salt to surround your home, then they're faking.
Yep, there are a lot of
they're
false.
just a bunch of.
You do have
Okay, I gotcha.
You do have to be careful, though, with the salt thing. Not to go against what you said, Connor. I respect you. You're one of my best friends. But let me just say that some exorcists, are sort of in the pocket of Big Salt. If
That's
you know what
true.
I'm saying.
You can go overboard on the salt, for sure.
They got
The
corporate
salt cannot
money.
act as some sort of a conduit. Is that what you're?
Well, I'm just saying that some exorcists might be trying to sell salt rather than.
Oh,
help
there
you.
might be just some shady salt salesman. I understand. I'll keep on the lookout for
Oh,
that.
Okay, so there's salt salesmen, you're saying, pretending to be priests.
No, they're priests.
I do have
but-
to say, I mean, that's a clever business model.
It's a
though.
two-tier
You have to
business
give them
model.
that.
Yeah. Well-
Respect is due.
We really want you to get better. There's also some more resources on our website, themysteryhour.org. Just go to recommended videos, and there's all kinds of stuff about how to exorcise a demon from yourself. And I hope you'll check in with
great.
us. I hope you'll give us a follow-up call.
I'll try and report back to you guys for sure because I'm pretty convinced now that. I mean, I'm 99% now that something's going. I'm still not 100% sure.
Well, I'm 100%
but
sure.
you guys have made a convincing case.
Thank you,
Okay. Well, all right.
Yeah, well, we'll keep you in
Whew.
our prayers, Rick.
Yeah, stay safe out there.
All right. I'll try. I'll try my best. Thank you guys for your help.
Yeah, thanks for your
always
call.
very informative here at the Mystery Hour.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
You have a good one.
Thanks for calling.
Love to hear
Hey,
from Rick.
you too. Be safe.
Oh man.
That poor guy.
What a great guy,
God.
though.
Yeah, really friendly. And he sounded really smart.
That's just the worst part of this job, is to sort of lay on the news someone like that. But what can you do?
When you're all about the truth, sometimes you just have to tell people things that they don't want to hear.
It's gotta hurt sometimes.
It's going to hurt sometimes.
Do you think he understood that we were talking about exorcising the demon rather than exercising the demon?
I hope so. I hope he's still listening.
Because depending on what you put in your Google search engine, you'll either find, good instructable tutorials on how to rid a demon from your body, but if you type in exorcise the demon, you'll stumble upon some, black magic forums geared towards cultivating a more muscly demon.
It's true. He might end up going to his local pharmacy and buying some creatine and buffing up the demon.
Yeah.
And making it stronger.
Yeah, everybody knows that if you burn creatine in a pentagram, it makes spirits around you more powerful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't try that at home. It's for experts only.
Yeah. Oh man, poor Rick.
Yeah, I am just taken aback. And it's been a long time since I've had to talk to someone with a real demon within them. It's been years.
Okay, so just in case it's not a demon, do you think it could be a home intruder?
Ooh.
Does anyone
Ooh.
dislike Rick? Does anyone really want to trick Rick?
Oh, I wish we had asked him that.
Do you think Rick might be tricking us though?
Do you think he's moving his photographs?
Do you think he might be a tricky Ricky?
He could be. He sounded like a genuine dude, though.
He did sound like a
He
genuine
didn't sound
dude.
tricky. I mean, it could be carbon monoxide,
Oh.
too. He might be turning on the faucets and not remembering.
Oh, so it could be a carbon monoxide link.
Yeah, so Rick, if you're listening, get a carbon monoxide detector first.
Yeah. And call the police. That
Of course.
Immediately or?
immediately, yeah.
He's on step 2.
At least,
Yeah.
he could be on step 3. There might even be a step 4 we don't know about yet.
He might tell us.
That's the trouble with Ouija boards. You know, you buy them at Toys R Us for, you know, your week's allowance. You know, save up all your lunch money. You get the Ouija board and you go play with your friends. But, you know, sometimes, most of the time, that's how you can unleash something quite evil into this world. You just gotta know what you're playing with. I mean, I heard stories before of people have been talking to a spirit with a Ouija board and completely, much like Rick, just completely disrespecting the demon, you know, like throwing Doritos on it, maybe farting where they believe the demon is, and then it coming back to haunt them.
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
Interesting.
Well, it is 11:48, so we are going to go to our second commercial break. I'm Roy Michaels, and you're listening to the Mystery Hour, 91.9 FM, WMB Orono, Maine. And it's actually not a commercial break. It's a PSA break. We're not getting paid for it.
We're going to make some announcements.
And make some announcements.
Do some housekeeping.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org/ME. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Mystery Hour. I am Roy Michaels, and you are listening to 91.9 FM WMB Orono, Maine. Tonight on the show, we were just talking about ghosts, ghouls, and demons, but what is next?
Do we have anything in particular? Or can
You
we just
tell
venture
me.
anywhere?
Yeah, didn't you have some questions?
Yeah, I've actually got like a grab bag of stuff, kind of almost going back to each episode we've done.
Let them rip.
All right, so previously we've explored deep sea creatures, you know, the aquatic life, spooky things from down below. We've got our squids, we've got our, you know, octopi, and our spooky crab stuff that punch things. Regardless, let's talk about the most threatening of them all. It's got to be dolphins, right? What is
Absolutely.
up with dolphins?
Dolphins are inherently evil beings.
They are.
I do think, besides humanity, of course, they're the only other organism on this planet that practices slavery.
Yeah.
And practices blowholes.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think they are exclusive to that.
Blowholes.
Yeah, you know, they blow
They're-
water out of their head.
I mean, other creatures have blowholes, but did they practice them?
Do they?
Is what he's saying.
So,
I've seen a dolphin shoot out of their blowhole like 20 feet.
Oh, like a weapon.
well, when you
Yeah.
think about the intelligence of a dolphin, it would certainly try to refine the technique that keeps it alive,
Yeah.
which is blowholing. We might have to get a marine biologist on the show to answer this one.
I think we have a few on call.
We tried that once, and he was sent off to Morocco on some kind of dolphin trip and never came back. So
He actually likes dolphins so much he would rather play with them than talk about them, which I guess is understandable.
I actually have seen videos on the internet of dolphins diving out of the water and attacking people.
Yeah,
They don't know bounds.
they have vicious tiny teeth.
The thing about dolphins is they're smart enough to be vicious, but not smart enough to be compassionate. And we have both.
Wow.
Yeah, we can develop ethics.
Mm-hmm.
They say a dolphin can love, though. But can a dolphin love a man?
Who says that?
Dolphins can lust.
Oh,
Yes, I
Jeez.
agree.
What?
Keith?
okay. I guess my initial point was, how do you guys believe that they got to be this intelligent? Do you think it's like an alien hive mind?
I do think it's an alien hive mind.
All right.
What do you think? Of course, I think it's an
Well,
alien.
yeah.
Of course.
Duh.
Of course.
That was my first guess.
I mean, my answer is really boring. I think it's just evolutionary luck.
But so, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Science Guy. But humanity, we developed our intelligence when we began standing up straight, and we started using our meat prawns at the end of our armies to sort of fiddle with objects, and we began thinking.
That was incredible. Proceed, though. No bully.
I shouldn't have left my aluminum hat at home.
They're interfering.
When you, well, I think my nose is bleeding a little bit.
Man, I knew we should have put a Faraday cage around this place.
When. So, we just had a glitch in the Roy Michaels. I'm actually a form of artificial intelligence created by graduate computer engineering students here at the University of Maine.
Yeah. Functioning as the host of the Mystery Hour.
Yeah.
That's how much we trust them.
Yeah, it's very convincing.
See, that's why we don't have many guests on the show, because there's not much space in here, because there's just wires everywhere. There are data banks.
Yeah, the three of us, the humans in the studio, we're just tangled in a sea of wires right now.
Yeah, and you have to be essentially naked to be on the show because there's so much
It's
heat.
too hot.
Gotta
Yeah.
say, Mike, favorite part about the week is switching you on every Friday.
Thanks.
Yeah, I wish we never had to switch you off.
But we do.
But we do, yeah.
You guys like me more than Robo DJ, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's
Who's on in
on.
5 minutes. Robo DJ will be on in 5 minutes playing music for you for the rest of the night right here on 91.9 FM WMEB Orono, Maine. Robo DJ.
Okay, Keith, next question.
Okay. Waste and utility. What do we think about ectoplasm? You know, okay, you're on the scene, you're hunting a ghost. What do you do with the ectoplasm you find?
You get your ecto jar out. Well, first you put on your latex gloves, you get your jar out. It's made with a special glass to keep all of the ecto goo inside. And you just spoon it in. You use the special spoon, the, what's it called?
The goop scoop?
The goop
The
scoop.
Goop Scoop.
Yeah, and you shovel it in because, let me tell you, ectoplasm is really worthless from a research standpoint. I mean, you think there'd be all sorts of academic articles about it right now, but it does make a very good nightlight.
I believe that.
It does.
Isn't it just matter turned to radioactive mush?
It's matter put through the afterlife and brought back, and,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
why it mushes out.
It's spiritual active.
But it's just matter, right? It doesn't come from nowhere.
I will like to add a caveat to everything I've just said, and that is, allegedly, hasn't been proven yet.
Oh, yeah.
This is just my personal opinion.
Now, I'll tell you what I do with my ectoplasm. I jar it up throughout the year, and then I take all the jars I have and I post them on a popular web forum. And then I go through the next year and I bottle it up, and I do that every year. I've been doing that for like 5 or 6
That's
years.
you?
How many,
That is me.
How many liters do you have?
Liters, oh, like LITERS.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one.
Not like a bunch of people leading my
Yeah,
ectoplasmic
who's your idol?
exploits. I don't know, like 50 liters from the last few
50
months.
liters.
Does
You
it
holding
smell
a
the?
ghost?
It smells like ozone.
Do you ever just kind of unscrew a? You know what I'm saying? You unscrew the bottle and just take a whiff.
Sometimes I
Oh.
take a whiff.
Take a whiff.
Take a
Get
whiff.
home from work.
It makes you feel, it makes you wild, as my grandfather used to say. Smell that ectoplasm, will make you wild.
It'll make you wild.
Your grandpa was a cool dude.
Keith, I'm ready for the next question.
Okay, I don't have many prepared. Let's see. Network capable printers, all right? Why is it such a rich data goal environment? Why do they love to ruin your network printers?
Because mass media, right? They can send to the most people.
You mean like they want to hijack the network and then use it as like a propaganda machine?
Yeah, they all print out the word boo,
Oh, that would be so
Ooh.
for example.
That makes sense. I remember way back in the day, many of you kids probably don't remember, but we had these things called fax machines. And that had even more of a ghoul problem. And you would just get dozens and dozens of black pages just covered in ink.
Yeah, and that is, from an economic standpoint, just such a pain in the head.
Yeah, it was. The ghouls trying to take away all of our money, and then we can't fight back.
Exactly, because the war on ghouls is definitely, we need to come together as a community of humans and pool our resources to tackle this problem. I mean, it's ghouls and climate change, people.
They're at the top of the priorities.
Ghouls first.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Keith, what do you think? You're one of the ghoul experts here.
You know, I don't actually know. All I know is that printers are terrible, right? Like, I used to have one that plugged directly into my computer, and no matter what I did, it was still awful. So I thought, okay, even if it's terrible, I can put it in my basement, hook it up to my Wi-Fi, and then it's not here when it's being terrible.
That's
It's
a good
still
point.
terrible.
The only good printer I've ever used was a laser printer, but those are dangerous. They'll cut you like that.
Yeah, and if a ghoul takes control of it, he's got lasers.
Yeah.
You can't
Oh,
arm a ghoul
man.
with lasers.
Laser ghouls.
Yeah. No joke.
I would like to mention that there was one point where there's certain printers that they come with the ink and the toner, but they're $30, and ink and toner can be $30. So at one point in time, it was more costly to just go out and buy a new printer every time you ran out of ink and toner.
So do you think that may contribute, are they mad that people are they're just throwing away so many printers?
Just a factoid.
Oh, okay.
It's an interesting fact. I mean, I think I've heard that ink is worth more than liquid gold in volume.
I don't know if that's true.
What is ink made out of?
Good question.
Diamonds?
Probably.
Well, don't they have...
We don't know.
Don't they have, well, it's actually quite sad. I don't really want to spend much time talking about it, but octopus farms, where they have a bunch of octopi,
I
in,
think that's where
in
ink comes-
cages, and they show them
Yeah.
like The Exorcist.
The
That's where
dolphins
it's-
run that, right? Like that's where their slavery comes into play.
It's all coming
Absolutely.
together.
Okay, so we just harvest ink from octopus.
Black
They
fish.
harvest ink, we buy it.
I
That
see
makes
what
sense.
you've done here, Keith. All these questions relate to one complex
Yeah, we're tying back
system.
in.
Yeah.
All right, Keith, I think we have time for about 2 more questions.
I'll give you one.
All right.
Yeah.
You'll be happy.
You're not
with
the
that.
boss of me. Okay. So I assume you guys have heard that like you can't eat banana bread or a bunch of bananas when you're going to beekeeping, right?
No.
It'll really make them angry. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm going somewhere with this.
Yeah, no, I've heard that.
Okay,
Of
yeah,
course.
duh.
Of course.
Similarly, you can't eat bananas and then go out in the woods because it'll rouse the mosquitoes and they'll start biting at you. What do you
Of
think
course.
you would eat if you wanted to repel ghosts? Like vampires have got garlic. Mosquitoes have banana bread.
Well, let me tell you, I've never personally experienced a ghost, so I might suggest a bunch of granola bars
Ooh.
and crackers.
All right.
I'm going to suggest something that lowers your body temperature, like cucumbers or pickles.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Really?
I didn't even just make it up.
Cucumbers and pickles.
To cool down.
Yeah.
What's
don't know
is
if
there a
that's true.
difference between the pickle and the cucumber?
Well, they're just derived of similar vegetables.
Yeah, that's a true fact.
I mean, let me go on record. Roy Michaels here. What came first, the cucumber or the pickle?
I believe that before the cucumber existed, our Earth, the atmosphere was made of vinegar, and as the cucumber began to grow, it turned into a pickle. We had
Yeah.
to reverse engineer
No.
People hashtag pickle or hashtag cucumber.
it. No.
We'll solve this mystery.
Facebook.com/Midnight Mystery Hour, even though our show is on 11.
We're not
now.
changing the URL.
Keith, hashtag
11
is made full
Mystery
circle.
Hour.
No,
It's cool again.
it's not cool.
I'm trying to think though,
Oh, wait,
if I would repel a ghost, what I would want to eat. You do have I like that you actually came at it from a practical sense
Yeah.
of lowering your body temperature.
That's a good idea.
Do you think that's because ghosts have, very low aura temperatures.
I figure they would seek warmth.
They would seek warmth. Maybe that's how they distinguish us and them.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, as far as my stance goes, well, first of all, now I realize, because I eat a lot of bananas, why I'm being swarmed by bees 20 hours a day.
It makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Probably
But
smell good.
two, I think if you want to repel a ghost, eat Jello, because it's like made of bone, and they're gonna think you're dead.
Oh, yeah, they
Yeah.
won't mess with the skeleton. The mosquitoes
It's-
won't either.
Exactly.
Jello's very funky.
It is very funky, and ghosts are very anti-funky.
Yeah, you can like. It kind of reminds me of a ghost when you shake it. It's like ectoplasm.
It is.
Yeah.
Sometimes I worry that there is sneaking a little bit of ectoplasm in there when I eat it.
Yeah.
I met. Are you guys familiar with flan?
Yeah, like the
Flan.
foot.
That's
Yeah,
totally
it's flan.
ectoplasm.
Oh yeah.
It is
The way it
delicious.
wobbles.
Yeah, I've never had it, but there was one episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog where he ate a
Oh,
bunch
yeah.
of flan.
Uh-huh.
We.
Flan. Yeah, he ate a bunch of flan. It seemed very appealing to me. You know, just jiggly pudding-y
No.
substance.
It is good.
It is good.
It
Yeah.
is. It is really
good.
good.
It's like a custard.
It looks like it would be good.
Blood pudding is quite good.
Yes, it
we're
is.
On the
Ooh,
topic.
yeah.
So is blood bread.
Mm-hmm.
So is carbonated human blood.
I haven't had that, but I would try it.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah. Mincemeat pie.
Very good.
It's pretty
It's
good.
meat, but it's also sweet.
Keith, let me just hear that last question quickly.
Okay, we gotta be quick here.
I don't
It's
want
very
this to be
Scooby-Doo-esque.
yet another mystery.
Yeah. All right. So cemeteries, are they full of spectral energy, or is it lazy groundskeepers trying to fool people from being there at night?
Yes.
Absolutely.
We solved it.
Well, I've been at many a cemetery at night, and let me tell you, I've never seen a groundskeeper, lurking around. But I did have one experience where we set up a candle and left it for quite some time. Rob, you were there.
Yeah, I remember
And
this.
we walked all around, and we came back, and the candle was blown out. It was a very palpable, real, tangible connection between us and the life after death.
Yeah, I felt very malleable. Very.
Was
Scary.
I was there that time, wasn't I?
Yes,
I was sitting and you guys ran by me just screaming your heads off.
we were
And,
scared.
Yeah.
But,
we
you
were,
know-
we weren't screaming.
It could have been a groundskeeper, because if I saw a candle burning, you're shutting down for the night. You just gotta blow it out.
There's a lot
It's
of
a fire hazard.
Yeah, it's a fire
You
hazard.
can assume if he found the candle, he went looking for us.
I do like the concept of a groundskeeper though, because it imagines me of I'm having a really hard time, you guys. You
They're
need to
they're targeting Roy with their mind control beams, and there's nothing we can do about it.
guys, I'm not fit to be a host tonight.
I still appreciate you.
I mean, as far
I'm
as
very
though?
tired.
the graveyards. Sorry. I
Yeah,
didn't
so
mean to
the
interrupt
lazy
you, Roy.
caretaker is essentially a Scooby-Doo villain.
Exactly.
Ah,
That's a job I wouldn't mind.
Scooby-Doo villain?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, but you meant caretaker.
Yeah.
no, I have to admit something. I am a graveyard caretaker.
Cool.
So we do exist. Everyone in my family is dead, and I was at the graveyard all the time, so I decided I would just work there. It was just easier that way.
We pull some pranks.
I don't pull any pranks, but I am very quiet and very sneaky. No one ever sees me
Cool.
Ooh.
when I come up behind them. And I basically the point is I make money for every grave.
Could you help me out with something?
Oh my god. You gotta be quick.
Connor, so tell me, what's the correct etiquette? Do you walk around in front of the grave, or do you just walk in front of the grave?
The correct etiquette is to walk around, but I just walk on it because they're dead and they don't care.
Good to know.
The graveyard is for the living.
Yes.
Does that wrap it up for us?
I believe that
We're
concludes
going
this
over
hour of mystery, but let me tell you, we have a big show coming at you next week. What do we have on the burner? Do you guys want to share anything about that?
We've got quite the adventure.
It's gonna be
in
the biggest
Bucksport.
thing we're on.
We went to Bucksport,
Mhm.
and what did we do?
Well, I don't want to spoil it.
We had an adventure. Boy, am I excited to share.
Yeah, we're solving quite the mystery, and we got in a little bit of a mishap.
A little bit of a mishap. There's a whole big thing. I'm very excited to share it with you guys next week. We might even have some guests on next week as well. Maybe Joseph will even come back.
Yeah, maybe.
Regardless, don't abandon hope. We'll be back next week at 11 o'clock right here on 91.9 FM WMEB Orono, Maine. Robo DJ is coming at you next, and he's going to be playing music for you all night long until about, I think he plays all Saturday as well. Some deep WMEB cuts, non-stop, around the clock. I'd like to thank Jimmy Ozog for composing several original pieces of audio specifically for the Mystery Hour. And I would like to thank the people behind the scenes at WMEB for giving us the opportunity to put on this show and helping us grow along the way. And of course, I'd like to thank you, the listener, for tuning in. I'm Roy Michaels. It's 12:08, and you just listened to the Mystery Hour at 91.9 FM at WMEB Orono, Maine. We'll see you next week.
Dooby-dooby-doo, where are you? We got some work to do now.